Please guide me to speak for the highest good of all involved. Please cleanse and purify this space, and please help me to speak what needs to be said into the collective understanding. Thank you for guiding me. As per usual, every time I start to talk about the Matrix and my story, weird shit starts happening. And last week I was trying to get some videos recorded for the series, and multiple technical things happened with both the platform that I use for recording and editing, and just like one thing after another. And so I just decided, like, okay, I need to take a step back because I was getting super frustrated, and I was also very ungrounded. I learned last time when I was putting out my Matrix video series about my first iteration of my story that if I am ungrounded, that's when I'll get fucked with. The beings don't want me telling my story, so they will fuck with me and my life. Last time they actually tried to take me out, and that was like a year and a half ago. Since then, I have, like I said, been completely healed myself from the hold that they have on me, so they don't have as much influence in my life as they did, because there's nothing for them to kind of like grasp onto for the most part. But they will try. And they will try to affect other people and other situations around me to fuck with me. So anyway, I kind of took a step back and I like regrounded myself. I was away from my yoga and meditation practice there for a little bit. So I got back into that. I bought myself a meditation pillow. I needed one, and just like regrounded over the last couple of days. So I'm feeling a lot better. So let's try this again. I was going to start with my knowledge about what the Matrix system is and the beings of the Matrix, but I was shown to not start the series like that. I'm going to start with my actual story, and then I'll get into more details about who and what the Matrix is, and my understanding of that. If you hear what sounds like a herd of elephants in the background, or if you hear voices, that is my little one. I have a 5-year-old, and she is playing with her friend. I tried to do as much as I could to limit the mic picking up that noise, but so we'll just see what happens. So let's get into it. So, because I have attained enlightenment, my soul has attained enlightenment in other lifetimes, I remembered a lot more about prior to incarnation. I knew a lot about my life and like my purpose here, and my mission and stuff like that. So this story begins prior to this particular incarnation that I'm in. This lifetime is the culmination for my soul of multiple other lifetimes. So I've been working on this mission in other lifetimes. This lifetime is the full culmination of the work in those other lifetimes. And I came into this lifetime with the mission. So my mission is to break the chains that have been on this planet and the humans on this planet. So this matrix system has been in place for a very, very long time. And anybody that has been born under this matrix system, you're kind of born into this prison kind of slavery system. I mean, you're not like bound completely into it, but because that's what you're born into, that's what you know. And so you don't know that you're in this prison system. And so it's hard to get out when you don't know. My soul agreed to take on this mission of basically like showing people that there's a matrix system and helping them break out of it and just kind of like abolishing that system. And that's part of what I'm here to do. I'm not doing that by taking down the matrix. Like, that's not my mission. My mission is to help people break out of the system by attaining enlightenment or some level of enlightenment. That is your way out. Free your mind and the rest will follow. That's essentially what I'm here to do. And the matrix system hates that I'm here to do that. And they essentially hate me. We, meaning myself and my soul family, aka my guides. My soul family and my guides are kind of interchangeable in this lifetime, and often that is the case with people. We had an understanding that there was some sketchiness about my incarnation this lifetime. Like, we knew that there was going to be some fuckery with it. We didn't know the extent of it. So what happened was, when you come in to incarnate, it's I went through a descension process. So I was coming from a very high dimensional frequency, dimensional realm / frequency. They go hand in hand, but they're two different things. That's why I'm delineating that. I went through a descension process, which is often what souls do unless they're signed on for the whole of the earth experience, which many souls are. Those souls are very entrenched in this matrix system, and that's why there's a lot of beings like myself coming from different realms and different dimensional frequencies and understandings, higher vibrational, to ground that frequency into the planet to assist the humans to break out of this cycle that they've been stuck in for a very, very long time. And I'm one of them. And my mission is very clear. Like, I'm here to attain enlightenment and help others do the same. And that breaks you out of the system. Like, we don't have to fight the system. We choose ourselves. We love ourselves enough to get ourselves out of this system, right? So it's fighting the system, you're not doing anything but perpetuating it. Anytime there's a war between two sides, you're lowering yourself to be in that war like frequency, and you are going to perpetuate that cycle. The way out is to ignore, recognize that it's there, because if you don't recognize that it's there, you can't get yourself out of it. And then focus on the positive, don't focus on the negative, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm here to do. Because of that, the matrix system wanted to do everything that it could to stop me. So when I went through my descension process into this realm, because this is a very low, a very dense, a very low frequency realm. This is one of the harder playgrounds in the cosmos. I call them playgrounds because they're supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a learning experience, but it's also supposed to be fun. This is not fun right now in a lot of ways because of this matrix system. And I'll go into more in detail about that in a different episode. It's going into a very dense reality, but because I had attained enlightenment and because my soul's expertise is spiritual awakening and spiritual knowledge, because I hold that frequency and those understandings, I remembered more about the other side, so to speak, which is really just the other dimensional realms. I came in with that knowledge of what I'm here to do. I came in with the knowledge of that there was this bigger mission happening. So normally when a soul incarnates, they may even choose down to their family. They might actually choose a specific family. Usually the soul is choosing. Sometimes the soul will leave it up to spirit to choose for them. Because a lot of us know that spirit has a bigger picture and can have a larger understanding, but much of the time a soul will choose everything about the main things about their lives. Okay, I want to experience a car accident at some point that, leaves me paralyzed, but I end up healing from it and I want to feel what that feels like. Like you're choosing those big experiences in your life normally. Normally you're picking your family unit. Normally you're picking a lot about how your family unit operates. Like, what do you want to experience in this lifetime? And I had picked out for myself those things before my descension process into this incarnation. However, because the Matrix knew I was coming in and they knew what my mission was, the beings of the Matrix, they actually caught my soul mid-incarnation and imprisoned me. I have been in a Matrix prison for 40 fucking years. Okay. And this is the story of that. So they caught my soul mid-incarnation and I woke up. Normally you wake up and you're in your mother's womb and you're like in the body that's being created, and you have some level of attachment to that body prior to it being born. What happened was that somehow they snatched me out of my descension process. It's like you're flying through different dimensional realms. It's almost like you're in a spaceship, like coming in, and you're like coming into land in your body, right? And you're going through different changes within that descension process, or incarnation process, we can say, because not everybody is going through a descension. But because of that, it was very disorienting. So they somehow had some type of technology where they snatched my soul mid-incarnation. So the family that I had picked out for myself was in India, because I knew what I was here to do, and I knew that I was trying to set myself up for success. So incarnating into a country like India, where there's such a focus on spirituality and in the enlightenment process, was important, because that's what I'm here to do. And so if I had been born in India in the way that I wanted to, I would have been placed with a real guru, not one of these false gurus. I'm talking about a real guru who would have assisted me in a lot of ways. I would have probably had attained enlightenment by this point already in my life, likely, very likely. I didn't choose a family that was going to be abusive or anything like that, because I didn't need to learn those lessons. I had already learned those types of lessons before in previous incarnations. I didn't need that for my soul growth. Again, I ended up in this like underground kind of cave type situation. It was very dark. It was very odd because I wasn't embodied. I didn't have a body. So it was like my spirit form, my soul. So it's not visible in the third dimensional realm. There was a guard in this cave with me, but there was nobody else with us during this memory that I have of it. And I woke up and I was very disoriented. I snapped out of the trip that I was in. You could kind of compare it to a drug trip in some ways, where you're going through different dimensions. You're like, it's quick. Yeah. And I snapped out of that and I was in this prison thing. Like I was being held in like this cell because I wasn't embodied. And the being who was guarding me, he was not very like conscious and aware. I mean, it was a being that was like, one of the soldiers of this matrix system, you could say, in some way. And this being, I don't know if he couldn't hear me, because I was trying to telepathically communicate with him and like try to figure out where I was. I don't know if he couldn't hear me or if he could hear me and he was just ignoring me. Regardless, he was completely ignoring me, like he couldn't hear me. So then I started kind of panicking because I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea at that time what had happened. I knew I was supposed to be connecting into a body, into an incarnation, and I was suddenly in this like prison. And so I start to freak out because nobody was there with me either. Like, normally when you incarnate, you have a guide team that is there for you during that process, because it can be very disorienting, and they're supporting you and like making sure that you're getting to your destination kind of thing. And up until this point in time, we weren't really like aware that the Matrix had this type of technology. And so I didn't know that this was an option for when I was incarnating. Like I said, I knew something fuckery was afoot. Like, I knew that. I didn't think that it was going to be something like this. So anyway, so I had none of my people were there. Like, none of my soul family, none of my friends, nobody was there with me. Like, I was completely alone in this like dark, scary thing, and I couldn't get out. It was like there was some type of energetic thing that was holding me in place. Like, because normally when you're in spirit form, you can move about very freely, very freely. Like, you just think where you want to go and you go there. But this was, I couldn't get out. And so like I was trying to calm myself down because I was like panicking. And then I was like, okay, I need to get a hold of one of my people to like let them know where I am, because they don't know where I am either, clearly. Otherwise they would have been there.